Hey, Lisa Marie. Hey, Kai,
Hello,
Arthur,
everybody.
Tom,
Happy Saturday. Good to
Jerome,
see here.
Jody,
As everyone's hopping on here, you can say
Daniel,
hello in chat.
Mary.
So it's interesting. One thing that we're actually doing this week, guys, is we're gonna test and try some things. Instead of live streaming this AMA, we're going to record it and upload it. And we're going to move more into a process of these kind of not being live streamed, including the Imaginators and the Inner Circle, like the Imaginators will do tomorrow. And this is simply for the reason of like we want to grow the channel, and what ends up happening is a lot of people watch the live stream, right? And so they'll watch the live stream and then those views go to the live stream, but the problem is that YouTube doesn't actually like count those the same as they'd count views for an actual video. So we're moving it to be like you guys could still ask questions here, and we'll go over that in a minute, but I just wanted to say if anyone was like um hey, where's the YouTube link? I wanted to share it or whatever it may be. We're not going to have one today. We're trying something new out. So, with that said, if you guys do want to ask questions on this AMA, you could ask Robert Hollis anything. If you have business questions, if you have like life questions, right? You're really open to pretty much anything, right, Dad?
Yeah.
Um, Within reason, right? So to do that, you could either ask a question in chat, or at the bottom of your screen somewhere here, there's going to be reactions. It might be under more, and under reactions, there's raise hand. So you can raise your hand and say, I want to ask a question of Robert on here, one-on-one, and we'll get your guys' questions answered. If you have more than one question, please keep it brief and be respectful of everybody else here. We don't want someone showing up that has 4 or 5 questions in a row. Let's be respectful of the other people that are on here. It is the weekend, so like not everybody has all the time in the world. So let's just keep that in mind as we go through this. So with that said, we already have one hand raised, but I want to throw it to you, Dad, before we get started. Do you have anything that you want to like share with us first?
Yeah. First of all, we miss Craig, and it's so fun to have him on here. But he's got a life as well. And thank you, Matt, for stepping in. You're usually always in the background anyway, putting this all together. So I usually always say something right before we go into Q&A, and today it'll just be very, very short. There's always this common theme. I always notice when I'm working on my personal development from two of my mentors. They always had this phrase, work harder on yourself than you do anything else. And there's when you always see other people's awareness coming to the same conclusion, right? And one of the questions that was asked was, people are going, what do you think is so uniquely different about the times that we live in? And he said, I've never met so many people that are lost. They're just lost. They don't have any hope. They just, they really don't know what to do. They feel stuck and whatever. And they said, well, what do you think the main issue of that is? And he says, people don't know how to trust themselves anymore. And I thought, man, because that's why I did that video, how to trust yourself. So the majority of the people on the planet have so many voices when, me at the age of 62, I had like not too many voices that were feeding into my life, right? And with the few that I had that were feeding in my life, it was really easy for me to look at them and go, I'm not interested in living like this person. So it was really interesting. Now move forward all these years, and it's like, golly, all the amount of opinions that everyone has, the way things should be done, the way you should believe, the way you should act. It's like nowadays people are being bombarded with that. And here's another negative about that is as soon as you come up with what you think you should do, there used to only be like 1 or 2 people that would say, Tom, listen, man. I don't think that's a good thought. Nowadays, you have virtually the world that comes out of the woodworks. You make a post on social media, And you got these people that are coming out and going, wow, we have a person that's interested from going from an employee to self-employed or business worker. Oh my God. Then I get to pitch them with my deal. So it was like, I think it was like almost 3 years, you guys, um, before I knew that there were other network marketing or business opportunities out there. So what a blessing it is to find someone that's documented. And then after you find someone that's documented, they keep documenting themselves and you don't know anybody else that's doing any of that stuff. Isn't that a blessing? So I just want each and every one of you to really, really think about if there was, if you can ask yourself the question, what do I want? And when you think about what you want, then ask yourself how to get it. Because regardless of what it is, I think if you guys watch any kind of other things, right? Don't you think it's amazing when you see, how many of you know a singer that's very well known, but they're known for their uniqueness in their voice, not that they're a good singer, right? Like maybe Bob Dylan, and you hear these like, oh, you want to do be like a woman, and you're sitting there listening and going, yeah, wait a minute, is this guy really a good singer? Well, apparently. And when you look at any kind of in the arts, if you look at anything to do with singing and even athletes, the ones that really, really, really became something great are people that are unique. And they basically didn't do anything like anyone. There's a book out there. I always talk about The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. A lot of people don't know that he's got other books as well. And he's one of the books that I love is thank you. Arthur put it up there. The Science of Being Great. And I love the story that he tells in there. It's like greatness is when people have to come up with a way to figure out a solution to something and they don't have anyone else to copy. You know what I mean? And the example that he's given is Abraham Lincoln. It's like, okay, so what country had a civil war over one disagreement and all the North is fighting the South or one group's fighting another group? And it's like, what do you do in this situation? It's like, well, this has never happened before. And so where I'm really finding a lot of joy and fulfillment and a lot of passion for my future, always thinking about, how my future will be a better and what I can do to do that, is I'm really gathering a lot of speed because I trust myself. I'm not asking anybody or listening to anybody. I consistently love personal development. So I'm going to always constantly, from all different angles, put that information in. And then from there, I'm going to design moving forward the way I want to move forward. So I think you should do that as well. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll give it back to Matt. We'll open up some questions here. And again, anything you guys want to do or ask.
Thank you so much, Dad. Yeah, I know for a fact, like anybody, but when you see my dad like really excited about something, and I love when you're sharing that too, Dad, but when you see that he's excited about something, like I think I even said this on the podcast that aired yesterday, but it's like I knew the moment that the dream trip stuff showed up and how exciting of an opportunity that is, that you just want to help as many people go on dream trips, as many people to get that financial freedom as you can. So
Yes.
absolutely. So with that said, you guys, there's reactions on the bottom here under the more button. It might be different on your phone. I don't know. To raise your hand, but we already have a couple of hands raised. You could also ask your question in chat if you want, and I can pass it to Robert. But like I said at the beginning of this, if you do have your hand raised and you're thinking, okay, I have like 5 questions to ask Robert, maybe try to like make that 1 or 2. Let's be respectful of everybody else's time here. It is the weekend, so a lot of people don't have all day to ask questions, right? So with that said, the first person that had their hand up was Tom. Tom, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Are you with us, Tom?
I'm here. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate your hosting today. And
Thank you.
is it really raining behind you? Is that a
It
kind
is
of
not. This is actually completely not real. Look, watch. I'll show you how unreal it is.
it looks
I'm
really
now in space.
There you go.
So or in an arcade, right? So
okay?
yeah.
How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing good, Robert, and always a pleasure to see you and learn from you. And I wish I could absorb everything you put out because it's just so much. It's like a library of information, and but it's amazing. I just don't know where it all comes from. It must be some heck of a well there that you keep
I
bringing.
just yeah, connecting and spending quiet time, prayer time. It's and I just constantly am attracting the stuff that I need to hear when I need to hear it. I know it's an incredible gift, and as crazy as this sound, I believe that every one of you have it.
We could certainly improve if we could get kind of in that direction. You mentioned about people not believing in themselves. I think just a couple of quick things, and I'll have a question. But like when I heard Bob Dylan when I was exposed to singing, so I went to a gym and the owner played Bob Dylan all the time, and I thought, what the heck is that? I was it very creative but no voice. And then he
Yeah,
put on Mario Lanza, and I heard that, and I thought, no, that's singing, so I'm going to go take lessons.
right.
So right away, I had some basic talent, but it just meant that I had promise. But the thing that really I've found gives you confidence in yourself, and the thing that worked in having a career is like preparation. Really have to prepare in an extreme way.
Yeah,
And then to focus like crazy. When you're on stage, you're not worried about anything. Like, was my hair good? I heard a noise in the wing. They're not applauding as loud as last night. You just don't think about, you have a job to do. And
yeah,
that just gives you the strength to do your best. And not,
always.
and so that, I think those two things applies to anything, even in our business. Preparation, don't try to wing it or fake it, and so that's just something I was thinking about. But anyway,
Well, one of the things when if you really took the time to find out what someone was really, in my opinion, gifted, and the definition of gifted for me would be someone that just seems to be above average. It seems to be above ordinary, and so Tom, I've been blessed because I follow you. Not only get to see you sing, but also play instruments and stuff, and. And when I see people that can do the stuff that you do, I'm just in as awe as sometimes you might be with me. And one of the things that I tell people all the time is the people that are willing to get better every day and practice and just get better till they get the basics down, that once they get the basics down, this other thing comes clicking in your gift, which is just this ability to sort of like go with the flow, be in the zone. You know what I mean? But you can't do that without basics, and you can't build confidence without practice. So I've always used this analogy for years, and I think it's a good time to bring it up now. I always told people, what if I gave you a challenge that in 60 days I would give you $1 million? I'd wire $1 million into your account if you could learn a different language enough to have a conversation with someone of that language. See, so the very first thing that people do is the same thing they do with everything. The voices come in their head and they just say, it is impossible to learn a language in 90 days or 60 days. That wasn't the lesson. The lesson was to know enough words to have a conversation with someone of that language. See, so we immediately always go to the impossible excuse.
I think let's go.
Yeah. So let's say you do make a decision. You make a decision. The next step is how and who you're going to learn from.
Mm.
All right. So now you could do tapes. You probably could do free stuff that's on YouTube. There's a lot of people out there. You could get a person that would give you personal language. And then there's some people that might go, okay, for this to be a challenge to have, and this is what I found out always, there's usually about, 12, 14 words that you can carry on a whole conversation with. You know what I mean? How are you? Hello. Where's the bathroom? It's like this is pretty interesting. And so here's the last part, and people don't like the last part. Am I gonna have to like practice all the time?
Yeah.
And then their mind goes, I don't have time to practice. I'm not good at learning. This is too technical. I don't like people. And so if I put that challenge out there there's a lot of companies and people that put challenges out there. I remember hearing this one time and people go, it doesn't make a difference what the challenge is. There's less than a 0.5% of people that will even attempt it. And they'll usually quit. Make any challenge you want. Because people are people. And I went, that's so sad. Well, it's not sad if you're own a company and all of a sudden, let's say Tom, is asked to put together a worship team. It wouldn't take him long to find out, hey, who do you know that knows how to play this instrument? And then you talk to the person and go, would you be open to be on a worship team? Nope. Okay. Tom, don't spend the next hour following up. I mean, the next couple of days following up, and don't spend a lot of time trying to convince the person that just said they wasn't interested. And other things, we take their, no, I'm not. I don't play that instrument anymore. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, and we go, okay. Do you know of anyone else? And we move on. There's this weird science I'm still trying to figure out, and maybe it's a mystery and I'll never figure it out. But it's this weird science that when people seem to get into what entrepreneurship is or anything like that, they immediately go in, I don't know. They just go into a whole different layer of confusion, overwhelmed. How complicated can I make this? I need to know the certain way. It's like, that's why in any kind of thing that you learn, they start out with the basics. And guess what? They will not move you on until you know the basics. And in this industry, I don't want to do the basics. So can I do anything but the basics? I'll go get a course. I'll go to this seminar. I'll do anything but the basics. And in martial arts, your top 3 basics: a stance, a punch, basically the response of giving respect, which is, Kai, just that, so you learn to do that in and out of the studio or the dojo. And then you learn to do a proper, horseback stance. And then you get to learn a left punch and a right punch that are just straightforward. And people are like, can we learn something else? Not until you learn this. And there's always a smart aleck in the class. Like, they do their horseback stance and he goes, I got this down. And the sensei will reach out and push him with 2 fingers on his shoulder and lands him on his ass. And he's like, and it's like, why'd you do that? And you said you had the stance down. Doesn't look like you were very solid in your stance. And so, only in entrepreneurship and building a home-based business where people get to make up their own rules. Mm. And they do. They would rather do anything but. So what would be the basics in this industry? Imagining so you're excited. Because if you're not imagining of your life being any better than it is now, then you will not go into action. You will not move forward. That's step number one. Get excited. You know, get in your imagination of a better life. Second step, what now? You need to find other people and talk to strangers and find a way to get them excited. No, I'd rather educate them. Can I educate them? Can I give them facts and figures? Can I try to sell them something? Yeah, if you want to be a salesperson, that'd be perfect. What are you talking about? Well, I'm in a different business. I'm in a business of leverage and residual and also compounding. So I'm focused on having 1 million active subscribers underneath me. I'm interested in doing millions in volume a month. So what do I got to do? You got to reach out and connect with people. I don't want to do that. Is there any way I can run an ad, buy a list, buy some leads that I won't call? Is there anything I can do? Anything but that? Well, if you want to stay a white belt, no, you don't have to learn any of this stuff. you don't have to contact with people every day. And what would be the third basic? Which is totally the opposite of what we were taught. It's totally the opposite of what we were taught. Is you got to be willing to act like a follower, an apprentice, and give praise and recognition and flowers, as they call it today. You know, you got to give that to somebody else for them to be able to see someone that's already been has already done what that person wants to do. And I learned to do that with this Point Guide and Direct. So I learned I got to get excited. I got to go out and connect with people, asking them to do me a favor and give edification to someone that's already done it and put them in front of those videos. So that's where the boxes came from, for those of you that have been around a lot. All Melody Riba did to earn over 1 million in commissions is, in my opinion, followed two major things. She did the assignments that my mentor asked me to do. And then she's still, in my opinion, one of the best people I've ever met that is so great at giving props and recognition and praise to somebody else and putting that person in front of a video. That's what she does. So when I tell people what to do and they don't do it, then she reaches out to them and says, can I hold you accountable to fill up those 3 little boxes with numbers? And it's like, so, you know, because nothing beats practice. You just keep getting better and better and better and better at connecting with people. That's why one of my assignments is like, listen, let's see how many greatest secret, the greatest miracle in the world. Let's see how many friends that you can build. Still to this day, I have people that are close to me, and they'll send me a message, and I always look at their profile just to keep eyes on them. And I go, wow, they just are not interested in connecting with people and building a following and having friends. They're just not interested in doing that. So when I see people that I've known for years that still don't have over 5,000 followers, I know what they're doing with people. They're just pitching them. And how would you feel and how would you act? Well, if someone pitched me, I'm not only not their friend, but I'm sure not following, and I usually block them. So I'll look at somebody and it's like, wow, they've had a Facebook account for 12 years and I got 700 friends. And I'm going like, yeah, that's not practicing connecting with people. You got any other questions, Tom?
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, we have that new video, the marketplace. I mean, that's a great one. That and your 6 minute video. So that's pretty much everything. I guess it's kind of related, but I don't know how you'll feel. I mean, I know that it's just a matter if the connection works or not. But and you don't seem to worry about ratios. Like I got to talk to 300 to get 70
No.
to look at video. So sometimes I wonder, am I reaching out to enough people? That maybe I just need to double or triple or quadruple the
Yeah,
reach.
I would be more like you. I know that you've heard a difference in me in the last year, Tom. Again, here's something that's really unique. When you think of anything else out there that you truly wanted to do, Tom, you imagine yourself doing it. You made a commitment to doing it, and then you practice and you got there.
Yeah,
I mean, anything that you would say, I'm really proud of my family, and I'm proud of, that I love to sing and play, and I love this about my life. I love this about my life. That all started out as an imagination. It went
yeah,
from there. It went from there to your heart, and then you practice and you got better. So let me just run this by you to think a little bit. When you sit down to do a piece of music, or you sit down to sing a piece of music, you talk about this preparation. Would any part of that preparation, for people that misunderstand what we're talking about, is any of that preparation just getting connected?
yeah. Definitely, just connecting to the music style or emotion that you figure out is there.
Right.
Pulling it out,
Okay. I
being brought
I
in.
guarantee you're not thinking of finding the right person that way.
Probably not. Maybe I know the kind of person I'm looking for, but I may not be connecting in a way that wakes them up. Some of the ones I've sponsored lately, they come in and say, "Okay, how much does this job pay?" And I'm just thinking, like, I haven't said anything about it being a
Yeah.
job.
So when you talked about that preparation, understand that in my connection time and my imagination, I imagine connecting with people, and they actually say this to me when I connect to them. Wow, that's bizarre. And I go, what's that? Well, me and my spouse were just praying about we needed to find something to make extra money.
Okay,
You see what
so
I
yeah,
mean? Because
just like
I don't want people that don't do anything.
no,
See what I mean? And so I notice a lot of people in this industry, they tell me two things. I say, well, tell me what you want. Just be forward with me. What do you want? And they go, well, I want to help people. Well, become a therapist, become a counselor. You know, showing people how to make money is another avenue, right? And so, like Melody just posted, me consciously, I surrender, and I just say, please give me the words to say to those that have ears to hear. I want to find out how, how I can better their lives. And so I now know that if I build a good relationship with you, Tom, and like and trust me, that's when I know, after I go there, that's when I can ask you the description of the person that I'm looking for.
maybe
Because,
don't rush that.
yeah, because people that are really great at anything uh, wasn't answering an ad
That's true.
because they're focused. They're really, really focused. So how would you find a Robert Hollis? Through a Sean Hennigan. And people don't want to master that. They don't want to master getting Sean Hennigan excited through a theoretical and giving him the possibilities that if all you did is introduce me to the best people and then you make them confident saying you're working with them, we'll connect this person. And then the next thing, Sean Hennigan calls me and gets me in front of my mentor. What a brilliant move.
Definitely.
So, you know, some people are just trying to connect and get that person into the business to buy something. And they say the same thing to me all the time. I can't find people that will buy something from the company. You're in a different industry than me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what they're selling because you're connecting in a different level than like product marketing.
It's the only thing that I have, you know what I mean? So, you know, when I talk about my stories that are so incredible, like the Koupas brothers, Tony and Mike Koupas, you know, having a 35-year-old company that did billions in volume. Tony and Mike were introduced to me by a girl named Lynn Martinez that answered an ad that I had.
Mhm.
And she told me that she didn't have any money because she just got laid off. I said, forget about that. If I could show you how to earn money without you investing a dime, would you be interested? She goes, I would. I explained the kind of person I'm looking for. She goes, that's my boyfriend. He's got a landscaping company. And he's got a twin brother that sells insurance. Yeah, they weren't offended by me talking about money, Tom. Yeah. So I did
Yeah.
this thing the other day, you guys, where I just thought to a person, I said, you know, there's 2.9 billion people on Facebook. So that would mean 10%. There's 290 million people on Facebook that make over 100,000 a year. I'm not being judgmental here. I'm just stating facts. People that make 100,000 a year are just a little more open-minded than people that live on minimum wage.
Definitely.
They just, you know, they've already done the things that they need to do to get to six figures. And when you talk to them, they're constantly looking. They're going, like, I make $100,000 a year, but they work me like a dog and I'm not happy.
Mhm.
Wow. What a nice person to connect to. So did that help, Tom?
It definitely helps. I love what you said. I'm glad they're saving this.
Yeah. We'll definitely get it uploaded, Tom. So thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Robert, for always going in the right direction for us.
Thank God. Thank God.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Tom.
Thank you.
All right. Looks like the next person that we have their hand raised is James. James, I'm going to ask you to unmute and I'm going to spotlight you here. Are you with us, James?
Yes, Matt, I'm with you.
Hi, James. How are
Nice
you,
to see
man?
ya.
Hi, it's nice to see you both. Man, I'm doing great. Robert, how are
Awesome.
you?
I'm blessed and highly favored and deeply loved.
That's wonderful. I'm blessed, highly favored, and deeply loved as well.
God bless you.
My question to you is, you know, I've looked at a myriad of people like Candace Bird Davis and uh, Mr. Santos and Demond, all these people doing things differently.
Yeah.
Now, that's to say this. It's only to say this. You are the man. I don't need to do things their way. I'm not talking about that. I'm not going to follow what they do. But I have to look at there are obviously people that are making $1 million or 2 million here or there. And maybe they make it for a while, maybe they don't. You've made it for the long haul. All right.
Very blessed. Yes.
If I my question is if I'm going to talk to a person,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I would use your approach. Maybe I would do that.
Or maybe you should use your approach.
But if I use my approach, I may feel my approach is duplicatable, right?
You
I
may
may
feel
feel,
correct.
but I don't have 6 or 7 millionaires. I don't have 6 or 7. I may decide I can say this and I can do this, and I maybe make some money, blah blah blah. I don't want to close anybody on anything. I really don't.
Right.
But I may want to do something different, right? My question is, for people that are going to do things our way, which is your way, they may not make the money that they want to make right away. All right.
Yeah,
may
if the only thing that holds people back, like, see, here's the uniqueness about people, right? Is people doing people things, if they come from the state of ignorance on fire, virtually every way works. Because they're running in an energy of faith and belief. And because they're running in a place of faith and belief, they get results. It's that duplication thing you talked about. It's like, so people will come in and do exactly what they want to do and they'll get results, they'll make some money. And the key, and maybe not for them, maybe the key isn't to make sure that they can coach and train somebody else to do the same thing. You know? And so, you know, a lot of other people, you know, are the opposite of me. They would rather focus on the 5% that I have a type A personality that is just going to go through the numbers and try to close as quick as possible. And then they throw spaghetti against the wall and, hey, I had to figure it out, you figure it out. And I was just taught that if you can find something duplicatable that people in their mind go, I could do that. Now we only need one thing, is for them to do it consistently to get results from it. So it's like you're training somebody to work out and you go, hey, I want you to do one push-up. Isn't it amazing that someone will say, well, anyone can do one push-up? And you go, yeah, except you. And they go, no, wait a minute. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I know you can. But like Jim Rohn says, it's easy to do. It's easier not to do. And so you really got to, you know, constantly work on yourself and then find the things that make you see. Here's another thing, James. It's my way might not be for everyone. And it's like martial arts. You know what I mean? It's like some people would say, well, I'd rather do Taekwondo or karate instead of doing jujitsu or, you know, being a sumo wrestler. You know what I mean? Judo. It's like, you really got to allow people to find their niche. And then as they find their niche, they usually don't become coachable until they realize that the way they're doing it is not getting the results they desired. And that's when people sort of open up themselves and humble themselves. But most people don't. That is a part of growing as well. There's not too many people that are like, you know, listen, look at my results and then go, yeah, they suck. No, wait a minute. You made $1 million a year. That it still sucked. I could have impacted people. I could have did more. So now where I learned that by asking myself a simple question. You know, I sent Matt a video today and it was like, you know, $1 million a year is incredible income, but it's not $1 million a month.
Yeah, it's true.
And so as soon as I do that, $1 million a month, how can I make this so simple and easy that I could grow to $1 million a month, $1 million a month? What kind of volume would I have to do? That's 10 million a month in volume. Wow. That could be done like with 500,000 people. See, that's the way my mind works. So what's the fastest way to get 500,000 people to decide to become a member, to be a part of some membership that they'd want to stay in there? And so, yeah, I really appreciate the question. So, you know, it's like, what do you do? I'm going to help people be the best person they can be and just love up on them until they finally go, what? Now explain to me what you do again. Because, you know, regardless of what you do in life, see, we know a lot of people that get their real estate license And they say that less than 1% of people that get their real estate license actually sell a house. And then we got people that sell enough houses to make a good part-time income. And then we got people that sell houses that make a full-time income. And then we have people that sell a house a year and make 4 million. You know what they all have in common? Wanting to sell homes. all of them have the same thought. Wouldn't it be cool to make money selling homes? And another person is just doing it at a little higher level.
Because I look at Robert Santos, his name Santos. I know his name is, I know Santos.
Yeah, Jefferson Santos.
Jefferson Santos and Candace Bird Davis and these people, they're making a lot of, well, they're making a lot of money, right? But you're making more money, right? I mean, come on. And you have long-term residual income. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So that's what if I want long-term residual income, I don't need to be paying attention to these people over here.
James, I'm the classic tortoise in the hare. You know what I mean? I'm very, very disciplined. I'm extremely consistent, and I love people. I love people. And I say this, and I'm not trying to be harsh, but other people's styles would have blew me out of the water. I would have came in, I would have met them. They would have tried to close me up for $5,000. And when I said I didn't have the money, that would have been the end of my career with them.
Yeah.
And I had someone that just gave, and let me be really bold with this. Someone was taught a different skill that he learned from Larry Huff and Larry Thompson and Jim Rohn and Earl Schoaf and Rich Snackenberger. And they had a different thought on this. You know, that why don't we take a bunch of not educated blue collar workers that were just getting by paycheck to paycheck and show them how to put whatever amount of money that they feel they want to make into their account a month. Let's just build an organization of a bunch of average people. So I was taught to go after the 95 percenters and change their lives forever. And other people were taught to go after 5 percenters and bring them in, watch them get an ego, and watch them in 60, 90 days leave to go to another company. And yeah, that's not me. That's not me at all. So
I understand. So the thing about what you do is you're in for the long term.
oh yeah.
People that we're connecting with by giving them a free gift, and they want to duplicate what we do. They may not be in for the long term. We don't know that because we're not finished connecting with them. They're in for the they're looking for the money like right now. They want, where's the money at?
Yeah.
And on the other hand, those of us that have been in a while, we begin to get good at connecting with people. But then, like you said, if you want to be good at connecting with people, if that's all you want, you could be a counselor.
Yeah. Yeah. I know people are hurting right now, and I know something that they can do that can put that money in their pocket. And James, if you don't mind, I want to get these other two taken care of because we're on a time limit today. But man, thank you for bringing that up. Just thank you. And if you guys notice, if you've seen me promoting, Jefferson Santos, is because I know there's 5 percenters in my group, right? And so I will promote other people that have results because maybe that style is what they're looking for right now. You know what I mean? Like you get all these, it's just, I would rather promote Jefferson Santos and Mark Smith and have them go look at their stuff And I honestly pray this, if I can't get through to people to get them to believe in their future and how it can be better, so all they can do is go out and try to connect with people and just go through the numbers. If what I'm saying is not inspiring them or giving them hope and belief that they can do what I can do, I sure hope somebody opens the door for them.
I got you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank
you
you.
bet. Love you, James. I really do. If you guys haven't checked out James Saunders' new storytelling YouTube channel, please, James, post that. I just love your storytelling, and the only thing that's missing is if you can find a way to make your background a fireplace. I'd like to see, you could be in a fireplace and
I can
behind
help
you.
with that.
Yeah. And you're sitting around the fireplace in a nice chair, maybe a little book in your lap, and it's like story time with James.
Matt, I'm coming for you, man. I'm coming to ask you some questions.
Well, hey, I was gonna say, just in the Imaginators group, there's a reason that I asked everybody with the poll earlier, right? Who was in MDC and who wasn't. And that comes from a place of being like, hey, I kind of have some things that I'm making for what we're doing in MDC with Dream Trips. And I've been so comfortable in front of the camera and sharing with you guys. Why couldn't I live stream doing that stuff into the Imaginators group and answer your guys' questions? So that's kind of what I was thinking of, is like, okay, if you guys, majority of the people are in MDC and stuff like that, not to confuse you, because I'm not going to tell you what to do. But if you needed like graphics or something, I could whip some up just to support you guys. So it's my talent.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Matt.
of course.
That's nice of you.
Well,
Matt,
I'm all about
what-
growing the community here. So
There you
Matt,
go.
what I would ask you to do is go to the Imaginator group, the very last post of mine. If you watch that, I know you don't have time because you're busier than a one-legged man in a bucking contest.
I try to keep myself busy.
If you watch 5 seconds of that, then you'll know what I'm talking. You'll know what Robert is talking about, and you will know what I need. Thank you so much.
Thank
you,
you, James. Appreciate ya. Thank you so much. All right, the next person up is Arthur. Arthur, I'm going to ask you to unmute here. Are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Can
Yep.
hear you great.
How you
Well,
doing,
I
awesome.
switched
Arthur?
to my space
I'm doing
background because
good.
I saw you say you're in space. So
Yes. A couple thoughts just on, I guess, the conversations that you had with James and Tom. But the first one was when you were talking about the money, $1 million a month, made me think of that opening line from Wolf of Wall Street, where he says, "My name is Jordan Belfort, and I made $48 million last year." And that really pissed me off because he wanted to make $1 million a week. I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty funny. But a couple things that you've touched on with both James and Tom is something that's come up for me this week was I've been finishing this book by Nightingale Conant, The Law of Large Numbers.
Yes.
And you kept coming into my mind when I was like listening to it. It's like, damn, he like really exemplifies what he's talking about in this book. And you're like bringing it up again. And then, at night when I'm getting ready for bed or whatever, I'm watching, something on YouTube usually, and an Alex Hormozy video came up, and so I watched that, and he was talking about the same thing. I'm like, is YouTube like watching my phone?
the algorithms got you.
And so Alex was talking about how he's like, you can only be really great at a few things in your life. You can't be great
Yes.
at everything. You can only be really great at a few things and master them. So find those few things and get really good at them. And because most people are kind of like off and all over all these things, and they want to be good at everything, but they're not great at everything. And he said the reason why people thought I was so good on the phone was I've made thousands and thousands and thousands of calls, and I already knew how the conversation was going to go. I knew how the responses were going to be. I knew how to respond to them.
Yes.
He said, and then he said, you're not good at the start, at the beginning. You're terrible. You're horrible. but you stick to it and you keep doing it over and over and over again, then you become good until you become great, and then you become a master.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where that Bruce Lee thing comes from. You know, the quote is somebody asked him one time, now that you've put together, and there's a lot of people in China that man, they just hated Bruce Lee because he would say that, well, I know Kung Fu, but I also know where the weaknesses are. Well, a purist, a legacy, a wise man is like, no, you didn't do all the Kung Fu moments exactly perfect. So you're not a perfect Kung Fu artist, and that's why there's weaknesses. And he's like, no. So that's why they were always mad at him. And he was like, so when he got introduced to other styles, he was like, wow, you know what I mean? This would be great for this. This would be great for this. This would be great for this. You know what I mean? And Kung Fu has zero ground skills. They don't see, the whole thing is you were supposed to get done with the fight before it got to the ground. You know what I mean? And it's like, when Brazilian jiu-jitsu and wrestlers first got into MMA, they said, well, all you got to do is not get knocked out. Well, that's not a good plan to a good striker. Because, they knew the right thing to do all the time. There was this big wrestler, and sorry for the analogy, everybody, but his name was Ben Affleck. And the kids won more trophies, gold medals, everything. I mean, it's just like they're really, other than Triple H, there's nobody that's really a better wrestler than this guy. And so so he called this guy out, Masvidal, that's in Florida. That's just one of the best street fighters. Where he got his popularity is when YouTube started doing street fights, right? And so it's like, how do these two have anything in common? So they called each other out, doing all the trash talking, and they get in the ring, and Masvidal runs across the ring as fast as he can. And he knew that Ben Astrick would go for the takedown. So he ran across the knee, and as soon as he bent over, he just jumped up in the air with a flying knee and knocked him out.
I saw that
in like
fight.
3 seconds. Wait a minute, there's a weakness there. So if every time you get under pressure, your first thing you want to do is, wrestle someone and take them down, you're going to get in trouble. And so, that phrase with Bruce Lee was, wow, aren't you worried about someone that knows all these different martial arts? And he goes, no. And the guy that he was thinking about is Chuck Norris. And he just said, no, I'm worried about the guy that figures out a technique and he practices it 10,000 times. He goes, because when someone figures out a technique, then the rest of their fighting skills is to get you to look for something other than that technique. And so now he's constantly kicking you on the right side. He kicks you in the leg, clicks you in your rib. You block a couple of times to the head, and he goes for the right leg, spins the other direction, and does a backhand right on your tip of your jaw.
Do you remember the guy named the Foot?
Oh, Superfoot Wallace.
Yeah, he was good at that.
Yeah, I sparred him and Chuck Norris and Benny the Jet Paquitas. And it was like, you like you said, Superfoot Wallace practiced, always leaning over his leg and just kicking with his right leg. So
his other leg was messed up.
Yeah. So everyone didn't know how to fight a person that never put their damn leg down. He never put his leg down. So they're trying to move in, and he'd kick you in the head, and then you lift your arm up and he'd kick you in the rib cage. And then you try to block with your elbow and he'd kick you in the thigh. Boy, if what he did back in those days, no one ever thought that you should kick to the thigh. No one ever thought that you should kick to the shin. That guy had the hardest kick of any fighter I've ever seen. If people did it back in his day, he'd kick you in the shin and take both legs out from underneath you. And it's like, well, how do you get good at boxing if someone keeps sweeping your legs out? And so, yeah, the law of averages, Jim Rohn, put that in a short speech. I still listen to that over and over and over again. And what it does more to me than anything, Arthur, is it really gives a person that sucks hope. And of course, I wasn't good when I got in, but I just love Jim Rollins like, hey, so what are we selling? We're selling insurance. Who's the best guy? Arthur. Arthur kicks our ass every month. He kicks our ass. And it's like, well, how many sales does he do a month? He does 12. Well, then he comes up to you, Arthur, and says, yeah, you've been here and you're so good on the leaderboard. What is your closing ratio? I had 70%. So he's going 12. So 12 cells. Let's say that he did 24. So he does 24 presentations. You know what I mean? He just does that number in his head and he says, now I suck. So if I did 100 presentations, and he was always figuring out the numbers, Arthur, to just beat the number one producer. Isn't that crazy? And it was like, I know the numbers. If I do more presentations than him, then if my closing ratio is 10% or less, I'm still going to do more sales than 12 because I'm willing to do more presentations. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Because that really is the history. That's the history of the world. Right there. Everyone that's greater at something else. And that's the people that want to say that that's not true are people that can say, well, it's not true. Arthur can sell sand to an Arab. You know what I mean? He can sell ice to an Eskimo. He's just a master at sales. No one wants to admit that you worked on that skill. See, everyone wants to say stuff like, well, he was God created him as being one of the best closers. You see, because I gotta say something that makes Arthur a bigger human being than me, because then I can say that he didn't work as hard as he did. Is that crazy? And I mean, I could go on and on, because when you're stuck on this thought pattern, Arthur, you will constantly find people like the stories about Kobe Bryant, and it's like, and so, before the game, I'm watching the finals right now. And, it says that Kylie Irving came in, 2 hours earlier than practice for the game that was last night. And it's like, we lose today, we're gone. You know what I mean? And it's like, man, that team showed up, and usually, Luka can score enough points where they don't need to play defense. And Celtics have taken them 3 games in a row. And it's like everybody you could tell just made a commitment that they were going to play a full game of wide open defense and beat them by 34 points. It's like, it is like they got to win the next 3 in a row. But yeah, everyone was pretty surprised. There was a majority of the experts were saying that, the way the Mavericks should feel is, wow, we got our ass kicked in 3 games. We might as well just give up. There's always another year. And yeah, that ain't what everybody's seen last night. So that's why I watch sports and stuff. I just get inspired by, people that are going like, now there is an extra gear. And then we hear, Luka win an MVP of the year again, and he's 25 years old. What? So they lost 3 games in a row, and he outscored everybody on both teams, and the team still lost their ass. So it's Arthur. The more you focus on numbers and use that imagination, like right now, just go, I think that my life would be better if I made more at this than I did my current job. It's going to give me freedom. So now you want to find people that don't need your help. If you show them a way to make another $100,000 a year, they'll do it. They're looking for it and they'll do it. And that's when you can say, okay, so if I want to make $250,000 a year, that's 25,000 a month. Wow, let's round it up. So that would be, oh my God, that would be 250,000. I gotta be 250K. Okay, that's divided by how many people? And then really the way that I've always gone at this, Arthur, is I'll get them all myself. I don't need anybody's help. I'm going to get them all by myself. But that never happens. There's always people that are close enough to me that went, what did you make? That's stupid. I know.
Well, if people want to like really like if they're gonna like prospect like you, I think that's a really good book for them to listen to. That Nightingale Conant came out with a long time ago, Law of Large Numbers. And it kind of takes out the thing of, oh, well, this person didn't respond positively or they told me I'm stupid. To kind of takes those excuses away because you're focused on the wrong thing.
Yep.
You have no control over people's responses or if they're going to join into the business. You do have control over how many people you're contacting and showing them the video.
Yep.
So if you just focus on getting through the numbers and doing it over and over, eventually your skill is going to improve and we will become great at communicating and connecting and getting people to look at the video and our percentages will get better.
Never said better.
Yeah,
Right on the money.
The question that I came on here to ask you, but you kind of left me on a tangent with Tom and James. But the question I came on to ask was, do you know if they are doing another view from the edge, or is Mark Aceta still doing those?
Mark Aceta is still doing them, but he's not exclusive with MDC, and MDC is no longer promoting him as the trainer of the company.
That's okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. I was like, I haven't seen him in a while. He hasn't like been on any sales calls or anything like
well,
that.
what's really unique about, I love Mark. I've known Mark for so many years, 37 years.
I really love that view from the edge. I really like that.
It's we're having a unique, see the problem with training today, just overall training, is that people have come to understand that they could get everything they wanted to learn on YouTube. And so it's like it's turning into education, which Mark is always tried to do, like my mentor did. But when a company's paying him money to do that, they need to see something as far as an increase in revenue, that the training's actually doing something for people. And yeah, it's entertaining. It's very, very entertaining, and I love them as well. There's just not the company, and this is going to be a unique thing to watch for you guys that know Eric Worre, because I love Eric Worre as well. But I've just been on this tangent for years that I'm going, people just don't want to be trained anymore. They don't. And do they love being there? Do they love the camaraderie of being around people? Yeah, there's a lot of positives to conventions other than training. It's just that nowadays I never thought that I would ever see where people would pay money to go to a training to learn a skill that could make them enough money where they'd never have to work for anybody again. And there's zero attention span. So it's very weird as a person that used to stand in front of millions of people live and watch them with journals sitting in the front row. No one's taking a bathroom break. I mean, wow, those times are gone. It's sad to see that they're gone. You know what I mean? And so yeah, but I was talking about Eric Worre, because Eric Worre just signed a contract to come on as the master trainer of Herbalife. and Herbalife is public. So we get to see how big the revenue goes up now that, and my question would be, what other person that's been in the network marketing world has built a larger following, a larger YouTube channel, a larger amount of people that bought books? There's no one that's done it better than Eric Worre. Nobody. And so, you get to see where it turned from, you got to see where it turned from that training, what we all believed was that I would not be here without training. Are you freaking kidding me? But it was in different times, it's like, golly, we went to a 2-day seminar for $1,000, 12 hours a day, just learning how to properly handle objections and closing. I mean, my mentor was radical, man, radical. And so he would say, pick a teammate. Arthur, you and I pick, each other. He goes, who's A or B? You raise your hand, I'm A. I'm like, okay, let's go. And he'd come up, okay, abortion. A's for it, B's against it. A's go first, go. And then after you did that, then we'd have to do it again and switch our side. Man. So any really crazy subject you could think about. And it's like it taught you to land on your feet, listen really good to find out what a person's opposing views are so that you can counter react those. I know in school they call it debating. And it's like, man, we were what's that word? We're militant. We were like Green Berets. You were like Navy SEALs of network marketing.
I've been to some real estate training like that too, where they
Yeah.
were going back and forth with objections and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people want to learn those skills, but see, man, did that make me, I don't think I'm a master yet. I have so much to learn, but
those skills are only really,
yeah, but it had nothing to do with duplication.
Yeah, those skills are only good if you're doing like a close on a sale and then you're done with them.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But, because you're not going to keep them around to keep doing the thing. And then you also aren't going to teach them to do the same thing and keep hammering people.
Well, how do you take the 7 years that I was with Bill, hundreds and hundreds, probably five, let's say seven times 7, 50 trainings. Some, 3 of them 5 days long. How do you put that many hours into another human being today? It's like, it's a lost art. It truly is, just like presenting. So if any of you've ever seen me speak live, there's a lot of people that come up to me afterward and go, that's a different level than what other people are doing. And it's because I mirror and match my mentor. I'd watch him interact with people and I wanted to be good. I wanted to be really, really good. And, that took time too. That's a lot of time just constantly working on that skill. Today, I would rather tell people not to present. Because as soon as they start becoming a presenter, they totally lose all duplication. Now they got their group and their onboarding process. And now you got a bunch of people out there that are just trying to build a better mousetrap. And it's like, I just want to get someone a belief check. Different focus. So thank you, Arthur, for bringing that stuff up. You always are bringing up great stuff. So,
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Arthur. Appreciate you. Okay, we have one more hand raised. Mike, I'm going to ask you to unmute here. Are you with us? Mike Fielder.
There you go.
Yes.
Hey,
Hey,
Mike,
how's
how
it
you
going?
doing?
Great, great. I just want to say first, I want to say hello, Matt, and hello, Robert. And I want to say thank you for everything you do. And I want to confess I am no longer a spectator, and I am now a player in this business, in this opportunity. And I'm on day 18 of the God Memoranda and the Bob Proctor money manifestation and the 6-phase meditation in the morning.
Wow.
And I will be a master affiliate. No, I'm sorry. I am a master affiliate.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
And my question is, for you, Mr. Hollis, a corporation, is it the LLC or is it the S, or which one is it you have?
Right.
And I want to be ready for you said you had a account. I don't need to know it now, but will I be able to use your account later on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So which is it as far as the LLC that I want to get?
Now I can hook you up with me and Josh Weigel's accountant,
Okay.
because there's a number of choices that you can only make personally, and he'll help you go through those. So like if you're incorporating in certain states, a C Corp is better in some states, and other states an S is better. And the reason why is because where the corporation is filed, you have to follow their rules for state taxes.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And so, yeah. And so like places, a lot of people do it like in Delaware, and then another place they might do it is either Florida or Vegas, because some people are just trying to capitalize on, actually doing their taxes and forming corporations in states that don't have any business tax. It's hard to believe that those actually exist, but you don't want to be, in my opinion, I'm not a tax person, but there's not too many people that are excited to incorporate in the state of California. Yeah.
That's where
What'd you say, Mike?
that's where I live.
Yeah. And so there's only one state in that in the United States that is higher than California and New York, and that's Washington, D.C. Isn't that crazy? That's bizarre that Washington. So in California, you can incorporate with what you want to, like in the states of Florida or in Nevada. And
Okay.
so what I'll do, Mike, is you reach out to me, and I can send you a link to Peter Botno, that's been my accountant forever, and he'll just ask you a few questions, and then give you decisions, and it doesn't cost a lot. And, compared, I guess, like $700 or something. But one of the things that I advise you to do is there's really no reason to form a corporation until the end of the year. So when you look at how much you made in income at the end of the year, that's when we got to file taxes, right? So that's when we're gathering all the stuff. Well, it's pretty cool that you could form an LLC, an S or a C, the last day of the year.
Okay. Sounds fantastic.
Pretty smart. And so that way you're looking at the income that you brought in, and now you can say, okay, is this going to hurt my personal taxes? Is this going to hurt my workman's comp? Is this going to hurt my disability? There's all these things that you can come up with that, that's why you'll hear a lot of people that get paid on their corporation, they get paid $1. If people ask me, Robert, how much do you make? According to the IRS, $1. Now I did screw up a little bit last year. I forgot to even tell Matt this, because I had no clue what we were going to do with the YouTube channel. And I left the YouTube channel on my personal Social Security number. So I made 11 grand last year. Now, but the Hollis organization is a C corporation, and see, all the money that comes from MDC goes into the Hollis organization. And you don't have to know all this, but how many kids do you have, Mike?
I have, well, actually, I have, I have a daughter who's 24.
Okay.
She's not a dependent, really.
Yeah. Well, she could become an employee just like your wife can become an employee. And they can get paid like $10,000 a year and they don't have to pay any taxes.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's
So my wife loves getting paid every 2 weeks. and it goes into her account. So
Awesome.
she gets to do whatever she wants to, but you get to do that with your children too.
Okie dokie.
So great questions. And I'm telling you what, Mike, you know, we've known each other for a little while. So I want to tell you that, you know, please call me Robert because I consider you family.
Okay.
And then the other thing that I'm really excited about is I'm going to try to be, I know you got, you know, people that love you, but I'm going to try to be your #1 fan on your journey there.
Okie dokie. I appreciate it.
Well, I love and appreciate you. Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Love you back.
Love you too, brother. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Mike, for sharing. I'm looking at chat. A lot of people got great stuff from what you shared, Dad. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
Sorry,
awesome,
I have corgis
awesome.
freaking out for some reason. But that's all the hands raised for today. So I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. Do you have any last words you want to say or anything, Dad, before we get going
No,
here?
I just wish all the fathers a happy Father's Day.
Exactly. I was gonna say,
yeah.
we're doing Imaginators tomorrow, right?
Oh yeah, I'm a father and it'd be a good gift to me to help others.
Okay, perfect. So Imaginators tomorrow at noon for all of you that are Imaginators. If you're not, you can go to roberthollis.com/join and check out all of the bonuses and everything. One extra bonus that will probably end up existing very soon is the Imaginators chat live streams from me where I help you out. Apparently, a lot of people are excited about that. So I'm gonna end up doing that this week. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Look forward to the replay for this. If you want to share it with your team or anybody else, the replay for this will be uploaded in the next couple hours. What are you showing?
No, Tom was showing his phone, so I just showed my phone.
Oh,
I'm sure he wanted
Why
me to
did
see the picture on it, but that's funny.
well, thank you guys so much. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys very much. Have a great weekend.
Thanks,
Gonna
Matt.
Ask
Thanks for
ask
everything.
everyone to unmute here.
Thanks, Robert.
ahead, Dad.
Thanks, Matt.
Hi, Robert.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you
Thanks,
guys so
Robert.
much.
Thanks,
Thank
Matt.
you,
Yeah.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Happy
you,
Father's
everybody.
Day.
Happy
Happy
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
I seen
Great
Faith just got
question.
on. So Sarah,
Thank you, Robert.
Eric,
Matt.
you bet.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Eric, John, Melody,
See you, everybody. Thank you so
Daniel,
much.
Kai, Arlene. Oh my
Happy-
God, Coach Bob snuck on here. Okay.
You did.
Hi, Jerome. See you, Coach Curtis.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Karen,
Have a
Jody,
great
Tom.
Thank
Thanks,
you guys
Robert.
so much.
Thanks, you, man.
Have a great
God bless.
weekend,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Watching.